Howdy y'all, it's Jordan Smith, Chief Builder and owner at Smith House Company, and today I want to talk about the Andersen E Series window. This is the Andersen E Series window. Now, the E Series sets up at the top of the Andersen line. You have your 100, your 200, your 400, and then at the top you have the E and A Series. The E Series is an aluminum clad wood window and it really looks nice. Even painted here, you can still see the wood grain through it and you can tell it is a high-end window. Because it's fully custom, you can get any size that you want. In fact, this window here is 12 foot wide by about 5 feet tall, and it came in as a single window all the way across. So I have 4 windows that are molded together from the factory. That means that I don't have to worry about getting my carpenter to exactly match all of the trim and try to figure out how to make it mold together in the field and still look like a complete finished product. It comes from the factory already molded together. It is more heavy that way. It took several guys to lift this window up into place, but once it's set, the fit and finish is just top notch. Another thing that I really like about the E Series window is that my divide lights have both the grills on the outside as well as a divide, a spacer on the inside between the two panes of glass. This gives it that classic multi-light window look. You can't get to the side and see through it like you can with the cheaper grills on just the outside. Some of the lower end windows or mid-range windows will have the grills on the inside or the spacers on the inside and no grills on the outside. I prefer that to having just grills on the outside with no spacer, but this having both of them is by far my favorite way of doing it. You still get all of the thermal performance, well, nearly all of the thermal performance. This window here is about a 0.3. If you get it without the grills, you can drop down to like a 0.29 U factor. So you lose a little bit of thermal performance when you put the grills on because you make a thermal bridge between the outside and the inside. It's able to go through that spacer and re-radiate on this grill here. But the looks of it, you know, who really is going to tell the difference between a 0.3 and a 0.29 on energy bills? That's just for, you know, if you're a nerd about building science and you want to make things absolutely the best, then leave the grills out. But from a looks perspective, I don't think you can beat the look of the true divide lights. Another thing I like about this is a fixed window here. All of these windows behind me are fixed to where this is an operable casement. And the casement here has another feature, come here. Veronica's my awesome cameraman today. This here is a child lock. If you use this upstairs, you're able to put this child lock on and it keeps people from falling out the window. That's easy to take off for down here where we might want to have it open up further. You also will want to take that off if you're using this window as an easement or an egress window in your bedrooms. But look here, we've got 1, 2, 3 locks all the way down this window that when I close it, here, it pulls that window in really hard up against those sills. I like casements for that reason better than single or double hung because when I pull it against that sills, I get very, very low air infiltration. Now, Andersen, Marvin, all the window manufacturers now with their single and double hung have very good initial out of the factory ratings for air infiltration. They show on their literature that the casement and the single and double hungs are about neck and neck from air infiltration. From my experience, I've used casements from very old houses and they always still pull closed very tight if you have a mechanical lock that pulls them in. Single and double hungs, you just have sashes sliding over each other and you're depending on whatever weather seal is there, which can degrade over time. So in my opinion, I like the casement from a air tightness standpoint. And the second thing that really makes it nice is the look of it is very similar to my fixed. So my casement because I don't have this big sash for a single or two big sashes for a double hung, it looks just like my fixed, and I can do casement and fixed side by side or very close to each other, and you're not going to see a big difference between the two. Where you will see a difference if you decide to do that, casement versus fixed, is the casement will come with a screen. If you install the screen on this casement, you are going to see a difference from the outside. Your fixed will be very clear. Your screens, even with a high visibility screen or whatever, you're going to see the difference. So keep that in mind when you're designing. Either educate the homeowner and say, if you want the aesthetics to be number one, leave the screens off your casements, which is what we're doing here. There's not that many mosquitoes or bugs, or when we're opening the windows, it's usually in nice weather in spring and fall, and there's not many bugs out to bite you. But if you have a homeowner who really wants those screens, keep that in mind if you're doing a big bank of windows across there and you want to do some fixed and some operable. If you have the screens up on some and not on the others, you are going to be able to see that from the outside, and it's going to change the look. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Big fan of the Andersen E Series. This is not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored. They haven't paid me anything. We paid for all these windows. Speaking of price, that was the other thing that I wanted to hit on this video. Everybody always asks on price. E Series sets at the top of the Andersen line, so they're not cheap. The window package in this house is $25,000 to $30,000 on a just under 3,000 square foot house. So it's pricey. You can do Andersens probably down at the 16, and then the top end is 30. So you're probably spending about twice as much on this window as you will on a fiberglass cheap alternative. You get into vinyl and you can drop even lower than that, but you know, that just gives you a range. You can spend $0 and just have holes in your houses, or you can spend $30,000 and have really nice windows. You could spend $100,000 and have all of these steel windows. Stay tuned, because I'm going to tour Ramey in an upcoming episode, and where I'm going to show you some of the coolest thermally broken steel windows that I've seen, made right here in the good old US of A, right here in the good old state of Texas. Thanks so much for watching. Comment below with your favorite window. Do you love Andersen? Do you hate Andersen? Do you love Marvin? What's your favorite brand? What's your favorite style? Subscribe if we've earned it. Go follow us over at Instagram at Jordan Smith Builds, at Smith House, and we'll see you next time on Smith House.